As an engineering leader, you will need to provide honest and accurate feedback to your followers without damaging the interpersonal relationships that are essential to accomplishing the work that needs to be done. As you do this, you'll want to consider supportive communications strategies. We'll step through these one by one. First, congruence. If the message that you're delivering is not consistent with the body language, the tone, and the attitude that you're projecting, then you will create confusion in the mind of the person receiving the feedback. So as you contemplate providing feedback or messages to your followers, ensure that you give some consideration to the congruence of the situation. As we talked about earlier, being descriptive, not evaluative in the way you provide the feedback, will allow you to be much more objective and, again, honest in the feedback that you provide. Focusing on the problem as opposed to the person. When you focus on the person, you raise the risk of rising the emotional level and potentially crossing the other person's sensitive line. Focusing on the problem rather than the person will help prevent that from happening. When you provide feedback, do it in a validating way, one that is respectful of the person receiving the feedback. Again, be specific. As we talked about in the goal-setting process, without specific goals, it's hard to understand when you've completed a task or achieved the goal. In the case of providing feedback, if it is not specific, it will not be actionable, and the individual won't be able to respond in a way that you desire. Conjunctive. When you're providing feedback, make sure that as you do so, the flow of that conversation flows logically from one step to the next. If you're disjunctive in nature, you'll run the potential of losing the follower in the course of the conversation, and as a result, send a confusing message. As you provide feedback, make sure that you own the feedback, and by that I mean you should be using I statements. Not they said or I heard, but I think, I believe, I observe. These would be appropriate kinds of approaches to demonstrate ownership of the message that you're sending. These then are the strategies that you might contemplate using as you're providing feedback, all as a way for you to build the trust that you need to be an effective leader.